Hey everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. Yes, it's the latest Liverpool news update where you guys get to have your say as well on some of the biggest stories happening in and around Liverpool Football Club today. I'm Steve Hall, delighted to be with you here on this Tuesday afternoon as the Reds have had a well-earned break after beating Burnley and are back to the AXA, ready to prepare for the weekend test against Brentford. Hope all is well where you are. Good afternoon, Dave, as well as thank you very much for joining us. And the Southern Scousers says afternoon, lads. Yeah, afternoon to you as well, my friend. So yeah, we'll crack on then, get some stories. A nice announcement really to start off with from Liverpool this morning. Liverpool have confirmed that Sven-Göran Eriksson will be part of the LFC Legends management team when the Legends play against Ajax at Anfield in March. Obviously, the backstory is behind this is Sven, unfortunately, has been diagnosed with a terminal illness. He hasn't got too long left. He admitted in an interview recently after his diagnosis that he, one of his regrets is that he didn't get to manage Liverpool. He grew up as a Liverpool fan. He loves the Reds. There was then a bit of a social media campaign to get Sven into the dugout, and obviously it's all worked out well, and he is going to be part, which is great to see. As Mac and me Foley says, great news about Sven, providing again why we're the greatest club in the world. It was a really nice touch, and it's this is the good side of social media. There's a lot and so many negatives about social media, some absolute horrendous negatives about social media. It really can be quite toxic at times, especially when Liverpool aren't playing well. If you live in the Liverpool content creation sphere, trust me, we felt that here at Redmen. I've felt it personally before, but this is one of the good things that come out of social media. It'd be amazing for Sven. What a moment for him as well. He always wanted to manage Liverpool. It's not quite the same, but he'll be in the home dugout for once. He's managed as an away manager at Anfield. He managed Benfica back in the 80s. He managed Manchester City, and I think it was like 2007. This is the first time he'll be able to be a home manager for a Liverpool team, I think, as well. So it's absolutely fantastic. Good news all round, and hopefully it helps Sven out. Obviously a very difficult time for him and his family, but if it brings a smile to his face as he continues to fight his battle, then yeah, that's absolutely fantastic news. So if you haven't already, go over to the Liverpool website, get your tickets for the Legends game, go and support some amazing charities. The LFC Foundation, Forever Reds do some great work. You'll see Sven in the dugout along with Ian Rush, John Aldridge and Johnny Barnes. I'm sure Sven will love being surrounded by some icons of Liverpool Football Club as well. So yeah, really good news indeed. Let's move on then to the main story of the show, really. The title of the show was Alisson and Gomez are back for Liverpool. Both of them missed the game against Brentford due to illness. No one really knew how severe the illnesses were. Jürgen, when asked about both of them at the time, he said Gomez, they thought they were going to get Gomez back, and then he had a high temperature, so they had to send him away again. Obviously, the last thing Liverpool needed was any illnesses going around the squad. Got rid of Joe. And then Friday night, Saturday morning, Alisson reported ill. He said he couldn't eat, couldn't swallow as well, so they sent him home. It didn't, obviously, in the end, it didn't hurt Liverpool. Both of those players missing. Liverpool won the game relatively comfortably in the end, after a little bit of a scare when they were half asleep against Burnley. But a video appeared today on the official LFC channel showing everyone arriving for training. Joe Gomez was there with his coffee. Alisson was there hugging the fitness staff, so I'm sure if he was feeling under the weather, that wouldn't have been happening. So yeah, Alisson and Gomez back in the video as well. We saw Conor Bradley back as well, and yeah, obviously Conor's been through a horrendous time with the passing of his father. He could have took as long as he wanted, and Jürgen made that clear. It looks like he's now decided, maybe Conor Bradley and his family and such have decided that today's the day for him to return as well after an enforced break. Stefan Bajcetic, as the official Phoenix said, it was also back. Yeah, he was seen entering the building. I don't know what that means in terms of fitness and availability for the weekend with Stefan. It's hard to know. We'll see. I'm sure later on we'll see who does and who doesn't train. But Bajcetic was definitely in the building. So was Mo Salah, because the Reds talk says Salah ? Now Salah was in the building on those videos. That's what he was in his training gear. It looked like he'd been in the gym. He's been spending a lot of time in the gym. As it stands right now with Mo Salah, there's no official word, and why would there be? We'll see if he takes part in any training sessions later. When Jürgen Klopp was asked about it last week, He said, Salah either this week now or the week after. And he also, if you ask Mo Salah, it'll be this week. So Salah's keen to play against Brentford, but Liverpool don't want to, they don't want to re-aggravate hamstring injuries. You're better erring on the sides of caution. So we'll see how he is. They've got a long time to go, obviously. They've got sessions Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday before they have to make any final decisions before they leave to take the trip down to Brentford on Friday night ahead of the Saturday morning kick-off. So there's plenty of time for players to prove how they are and aren't. So yeah, the update on Salah, there isn't really one. Like Mikey says, there's no need to rush him. There's no need to rush him. If he's fit, then he'll be obviously be part of the squad, and there's every chance he's part of the team. But you are right. There's no huge boost. Liverpool will take all necessary precautions to make sure they don't lose Salah again. They lost him for a month last time, and it was Egypt who lost them more. Actually, Liverpool, he missed a couple of Liverpool games. Liverpool don't want to lose him now at a very busy time, including cup finals and European games and stuff like that. So they will, of course, they always are. Liverpool, they tend to err on the side of caution. So that's where we are with Salah. But yeah, as it stands, he was in the building, but no sign of when he'll be back. But really, really positive that Alisson and Gomez and Bradley are all available. Of course, Liverpool lost Trent Alexander-Arnold at the weekend to a knee aggravation. Again, because there isn't a game in midweek, there's no press conference today, there's no availability, so we probably aren't going to hear too much about Alexander-Arnold until Thursday, Friday. We'll see again if he's part of sometimes you get the training images and stuff, and we'll see on that if he is part of training. I didn't see him today on those videos, so I don't know is the answer there from him. It was the Reds talk who asked the latest on Trent. It isn't really, and it's probably within Liverpool's best interest to keep it that way for now. Again, they've got 4 training sessions, 4 days before they have to make any decisions. But having Gomez back and having Conor Bradley back eases the burden on losing Trent Alexander-Arnold. If he is unavailable, it'll be interesting to see how Jurgen goes with things against Brentford. My gut would be that he'd probably play Robertson at left back and play Joe Gomez at right back. But the option is there to put. Obviously, Conor Bradley was in fantastic form before his little break, before his break, and then Gomez and Bradley could both play in the same game. Liverpool were doing well with them with that balance before they both got injured, as well. Brentford do pose a specific challenge that Jurgen's referenced in the past. He's tended to get as much height in the team as he can when he plays against Brentford. Obviously, they're a physical team. They have a specific threat from set plays. Liverpool fell foul to that a couple of times. Liverpool, of course, haven't won at Brentford in the couple of years that Brentford, since their return to the top flight. So we saw in the home fixture, he played Cody Gakpo in midfield, and he referenced at the time that he could have used Elliott or Luis Diaz, but he chose to use Gakpo, and he specifically referenced the height. So I would be shocked if Gomez doesn't play if he's fit. Whether he plays as a left back or a right back, I don't know. But I think even if Trent was fit, there might have been an argument that Gomez would have played this one at right back anyway. It might have meant Alexander-Arnold played in midfield, of course. But I would have expected Gomez to play regardless. I expect Cody Gakpo to play the weekend. Jurgen does seem to want to put loads of the height and taller players and more physical players in his team. Maybe it brings Ryan Gravenberch into the conversation as well, depending on, obviously, Szoboszlai. Ellie says, where's Szoboszlai up to with haircut? I don't know. Again, there's no updates. Liverpool are going to keep things pretty quiet again. Didn't see him in the video of players reporting for training today. Jurgen did say he had a chance for this week, but it's still very early in the week. But yeah, I do believe Gomez will play anyway, so great to have him back. And of course, having the best goalkeeper in the world back is never a bad thing against a team who we think are going to try and target you from set plays. Alisson's obviously could be key in that as well, so good to see them both back. And of course, Bradley, from a Liverpool supporter's point of view, it's good to have Conor Bradley back because he was playing fantastically well, obviously, before the unfortunate passing of his father. But just from a level of he's a 20-odd-year-old kid. He's been through a lot. So just having him back in and around the group hopefully will do him the world of good as well. So it's more about that than anything really than the footy. The footy secondary in times like that. But yeah, just good for Conor hopefully to be back. I saw he put on his social medias he was getting a fresh trim before he headed back as well. I personally can't relate to that, but I'm sure all you guys watching at home can do more so than I can. My fresh trims involve me taking a razor blade to my shiny baldy head. Conor Bradley's fortunate that he's not in that position. I was going bald by the time I was his age. So yeah, good luck to you, Conor. Make the most of it while you've got it. Other news as well. I don't know if anyone watched... I don't know if anybody watched the Inside Anfield video on the YouTube that Liverpool often put out after games. There was a slight worry about Diogo Jota. Now, Diogo Jota was seen after that game limping out, limping off the pitch at the end. He looked in a bit of pain, actually. He limped down the tunnel into the dressing room, and it did raise a few alarm bells. The guy that This Is Anfield covered it as well a little bit. Now, on this video that Liverpool put out this morning, the players are arriving for training. You saw Jota for a grand total of like 3 seconds. But he didn't look like he was limping. So that's the good news. But it is probably worth keeping an eye on. Like I say, there's a long time to go between Burnley and Brentford. And hopefully it was nothing too serious. He did arrive for training. We'll find out later if he does take part in the session. But it was noticeable that he limped off the pitch at the end of the game. Hopefully, fingers crossed, like I say, not too bad. And he didn't look like in too much discomfort as he arrived at the AXA this morning. So fingers crossed Jota is fit and available, because without Salah, Jota is the next best goal threat. I think we'd all agree. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he's available to start. I also think it's weird to say, but he's actually really good in the air, and that might be, I know he's only a little fella, but he is good in the air. Maybe that becomes something that Liverpool think about against Brentford. My guess is for the Brentford game that Jota, Núñez and Gakpo will be the front three. That might, of course, that does depend a lot on Mo Salah. But even so, I wouldn't be shocked if Mo was on the bench to start with. They might not want to give him the full game. And again, given the height thing, I think Jürgen's referenced against these. Jürgen's referenced against Brentford. I wouldn't be shocked if Núñez and Gakpo start. And if it was me, with the choice of the others left, Jota or Diaz, I would go Jota every time. Yeah, Gordy says here he had a dead leg and bruising in the thigh after a bit of a collision. So that hopefully he's fine, and that is one that clears up. A little dead leg, and he's after a couple of days off. Liverpool, of course, they had Sunday off. They also had Monday off. The players didn't need to be at the AXA yesterday. Anyone who follows Alexis McAllister on socials might have seen that he took a little trip down to London, things like that. So the players had obviously a little bit of rest and recuperation, and also probably the fact that there had been a little bit of an illness bug floating around the camp. It was probably best to get everyone out for a couple of days, just get them all away from each other to stop anything spreading any further. So they've all had a couple of days off, and fingers crossed they're all fit and firing as they come back. Darren, thanks very much, Darren, says, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in Dublin next month. Great show and content. Keep up the great work. You're doing a fantastic job. You'll never walk alone. Thank you very much, Darren. Yeah, I'm looking forward to being in Dublin myself. Adam actually asked a question, Adam LFC, where are you lads going to be in Dublin? We are live in the Academy in Dublin on March 25th, Monday, March 25th. So if you want to come along, Adam, go to ticketmaster.ie, search the Redmen TV, and you'll find tickets there. We're also doing Belfast the day before, and we're doing London in April as well. So yeah, if you want to come and watch us idiots being idiots live on stage with some professional output as well, because Keo, who's an absolute superstar, will be with us performing some of the best Liverpool anthems. So yeah, do come and join us. We're in Dublin, we're in Belfast, and that's in March, and then we're in London in April. London tickets are at axs.com as well. So yeah, come along. We're going to have an absolute belter of a time. And we'll look forward to seeing you there, Darren and Adam. Hopefully you can make it there too, my mate. It'd be lovely to see you as well, yeah. Nigel says it's an awesome city, Dublin. It's very much like Liverpool in terms of the crack. Yeah, listen, the good news is as well, so we're in Belfast on the Sunday. We can have a night out in Belfast Sunday night. We can travel to Dublin on Monday morning, maybe with some sore heads. In particular, not so much me, I'm not a drinker really, but Chris Pajak probably is. I imagine Chris's journey from Belfast to Dublin might be a bit of a sore head. We'll go again on Dublin, and then we've got Monday night in Dublin before we fly home, lunchtime Tuesday. So yeah, there'll be a lot of Redmen activity happening in Belfast and Dublin in those couple of days. Henry H asked me a question. Thanks very much, Henry, for getting involved. Do you see Liverpool selling, loaning or keeping Kevin Kelleher in the summer? If he goes, should we get a veteran keeper or a youngster to back up Alisson? I don't think Liverpool would loan Kevin Kelleher. That isn't an option for me. I think they'll sell him, and I don't know the answer to it. It depends who's available, doesn't it? In terms of the current setup, Jaros is probably the closest in terms of the next available youngster. So it depends how Liverpool think he's doing. He's now gone out on loan again, of course, we know that. So Liverpool, I'm sure, will be keeping tabs on how he's getting on. So they might, if they wanted to just cash in, and if they don't know what's available elsewhere, then maybe they go for Jaros. He for me is the next one off the rank. And according to people who you speak to in and around Liverpool Academy, people who watch Liverpool's Academy more so than I do, they all say the same. Pitaluga's out in Ireland at the moment doing his loan spell out there, and up and down. I think he's still a very young lad as well. He's probably got more to go. So Jaros is probably next. Is he good enough? I don't know, because I haven't seen enough of him. I was speaking to Dan Club the other day, who went down to watch him last year. I think he saw him a couple of times, said he's good as well. So maybe, but yeah, I don't know. In terms of a veteran, the issue there is, of course, say you sell Kelleher Henry for, I don't know, 15 to 20 million quid. If you how much is it to then back up him? Just 5 to 10. I don't know. Can you get someone who's out of contract? Like Mikey says here, we do still have Adrian. I'll be honest, I don't think I would be particularly comfortable with Adrian being next in line. He's very much the third option at this moment for me. So, and also there's a chance he leaves as well. That there's certainly a possibility of that. So what it might allow you to do if that is the case is a youngster and a veteran, and you let those two kind of half battle it out to see who's available. Liverpool have gone down the veteran goalkeeper route before, obviously with Adrian. They had Andy Lonergan in for a year as well, didn't they, that year when they won trophies, so maybe they fancy getting him back as well. But I don't know. We saw the value of how important a backup goalkeeper can be, of course, at the weekend. Alisson's ill, couldn't eat, couldn't swallow, couldn't talk. Kelleher had to fill in and played very, very well. Kelleher had a very, very, very good game. That is the value. So getting backups isn't easy. So it will be a challenge for Liverpool, because I do think they're going to sell him. I think they're going to do right by him. They'll probably get a decent-ish fee for him as well. They rejected £15 million from Nottingham Forest in January. They'll want more than that. So yeah, we'll see. If someone steps up with a bid of it, I'd say I reckon Liverpool will be looking somewhere in the 20 million mark. If someone comes in with that money, then I think Liverpool would sell him, provided, of course, he wants to go to the club that comes in. Other than that, I think they'd be quite content to keep him. It's also worth mentioning, that won't be this regime's decision. There's a new regime coming in. There'll be a new manager. Who knows what that means in terms of coach and staff. At the moment, it's been confirmed that, of course, Victor Matos and Pep Linders won't be here. Not on goalkeepers yet. Is John Achterberg staying? Is he leaving? When Jürgen leaves, we don't know. So all those things will play a part in this as well. Kelleher's a very good goalkeeper for somebody. I think he'll leave, if I'm honest. Right, then let's have a look around the comments. Rebecca says, when I go to the City game, I'm up for 4 days. I've got any must-sees. I've got a stadium tour booked for Saturday. Just go to town, Rebecca. Go into Liverpool City Centre, and you'll find that you won't run out of things to do. Let's put it that way. Depends what you're into. There's so much. I actually did the day, oddly enough, it was a couple of weeks ago that we were in the car with my kids, and they were asking like what's alive. I think the comment came up like what's the live about, and it turned out we hadn't actually taught them too much about the city. So at the weekend, Sunday, me and my missus took our kids around Liverpool City Centre. We did loads of the touristy stuff. We did like Albert Dock, we did the Beatles stuff, we did a few museums and stuff as well. So we did it that way. I mean, if you want a few drinks, you won't run out of places to find drinks as well. So just head into the city centre and you can't go far wrong. And then get to Hotel Anfield the morning of the game. Spend the morning there, spend all day there before you go to the match, and you'll have a good time. They'll look after you there as well. So yeah, that's my recommendations. Get yourself into town, and I promise you, you will not run out of things to do in Liverpool. It's such an amazing city where we live. Right then, I want to talk a little bit. I know that there's games to be played before then. Liverpool, of course, have got Brentford, and then after Brentford, they've got Luton midweek. But just worth keeping half an eye on Chelsea and their injury situation. As as the guys over at This Is Anfield, Joanna Dakin's written this one, but I think we all kind of noticed it yesterday. Chelsea lost Thiago Silva to injury during the game yesterday. Chelsea came from, of course, a goal down to beat Crystal Palace 3-1 in the end. Two very late goals. Conor Gallagher and Enzo Fernandez got the win. But with, and I'll scroll down so you can see it, they lost Thiago Silva after I think it was around an hour into the game. Mauricio Pochettino says he felt something with his groin. He had a groin issue. Levi Colwill, returning himself from injury, came on. He took a knock, but he played the entire game as well. So yeah, Chelsea are looking like relatively short on centre-back options. They've got Colwill, they've got Disasi as well. Badiashile has now been ruled out. He will miss the cup final. So Thiago Silva as well. Without those two, they're down to two real senior options. They've then got Trevor Chalobah as well, who's been backing up the young lad Gilchrist as well, an option. But yeah, keep an eye on Chelsea because they're down, definitely down by the Chile. There's a very good chance now. I mean, Thiago Silva at his age, he's in his very late 30s. I think, is he 39? Yeah, 39. Groin issue less than 2 weeks before the final. He must be, you've got to think he must be a doubt for it. I'm sure his missus will be fuming. She'll probably put some tweets out at some point, won't she? She likes taking to social media, but just something to keep an eye on with Chelsea, of course. I actually think, Thiago Silva's had an up and down season this year, but he's been an excellent defender. He's been one of the best defenders of his generation. He's been really good for the most part for Chelsea. I think this year you've seen a couple of cracks there. But yeah, fingers crossed for him. His point of view, he'd want to play, of course, but from a Liverpool point of view, the more issues Chelsea have, the better. Not that you wish injury on anybody, but if they've got a couple more problems going into that final, it could be a benefit, I suppose. You never want to see players injured, of course. And listen, I'll be honest, I don't think Thiago's had his best season for a long time, really, because for a while he was excellent. Not quite there yesterday. It's also worth mentioning as well. That and I think it's mentioned here where for Igori, Gusto pulled up. He felt like it looked like he might have felt his hamstring as well. Yeah, Gusto did go off injured and he was good. He's been in pretty good form. He's been one of the few players for Chelsea recently who started really shining. So yeah, Chelsea, Liverpool have got defensive issues. Obviously, no Matip is the main one. We'll see where they're at with Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course. But Chelsea have lost Badiashile for certain. There's a good chance they're without Silva and Gusto as well for that final. So obviously it's a double-edged sword because they play Man City at the weekend and we all want them to beat Manchester City. But then looking further ahead, yeah. So maybe if you want to play against City, get a result and then lose a couple more players, I think that would be the bonus. But just worth keeping an eye on Chelsea. They are impacting Liverpool's season potentially massively over the next couple of weekends, of course. First of all, they go to City, a side who they drew 4 with earlier this season, of course, and then the week after they play Liverpool in that final. Yeah, and Chelsea dealing with a couple of injury issues themselves. If they play like they played in the first half against Chelsea, if Chelsea play in the first, if Chelsea play like they did in the first half against Palace, if they do that against Manchester City, they'll get beat 7-0 because they were absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. If they play like they do in the second half, they might have half a chance. You never know. Same against Liverpool. If they play like they did in that first half an hour or so than they did against Palace, they'll get battered. They actually got a little bit better when Silva went off. I don't know if that was a coincidence or not. But who knows? Because Palace, a very depleted Palace, made them look very, very ordinary. So my guess is, I always presume Man City are going to win all games. But yeah, fingers crossed. If Chelsea want to win next week and then lose the weekend after, that would be the perfect signing for us, wouldn't it? Mayonnaise, is it? Says when Stefan coming back. I don't know. Like I say, he was in training today at the AXA. It doesn't mean he's going to take part in the full session. Jürgen's kind of hinted towards the end of this month. Might be more realistic for Bacchetta. So yeah, there's no official update really. Liverpool are keeping these things kind of close to the chest recently, which I think is the right thing to do. Even with Thiago Silva, even with Thiago Alcantara, Jürgen was kind of coy, saying it wasn't really a big injury. Now reports coming out of Liverpool via the media. I had Neil Jones on today on Journo Insight on on Redmen, on Jano Insight over on Redmen Plus, and he said he'd been told by Liverpool that it's not an insignificant injury for Thiago. So, but they're just not putting time frames on stuff. So yeah, keep an eye on that one, because the honest answer is I don't know with Bajcetic, but he did report he was at the AXA today. He could be a huge bonus if Liverpool can get him back for a number of reasons. I mean, how much he's going to play, I don't know. Endo, McAllister are probably above him in the pecking order now. But it would be nice to have him back. Of course, he was in very good form last season. We haven't seen too much of Stefan Bajcetic this year, but shouldn't be forgotten how much of an impact he's made. Liverpool have had a lot of success in the last couple of years with the academy. Sometimes Liverpool's academy, for some reason, was getting a bit of a hard time, but in the last 2 seasons, Bajcetic, Quansah, and now Conor Bradley have all emerged on the back of, numerous other players who've come for the academy. Those 3 look like 3 really, really viable top-class options for Liverpool going forwards. So yeah, fingers crossed Bajcetic can get fit and available soon, because the more the merrier for the Reds. Right then, that is today's news update done. Thanks everyone for joining me on it. Like I say, if you do want more Redmen content in your lives, redmenplus.com is the place to go, including that Jano Insight with me and Neil Jones. We did chats on Thiago, we did chats on Trent, and a big old chat about Xabi Alonso, Liverpool managing situation and all that kind of stuff. That is all available at redmenplus.com. So do go and check that out if you can. In terms of what's coming up here on the YouTube channel, keep an eye out for Chris and Josh Williams with another episode of the Deep Dive. If you haven't already, go and check out last week's, where they had a little look at Xabi Alonso and his tactical setup. It's been really well received. It's still on the channel now, so go and have a little watch of that, and yet there'll be a later, newer episode of the Deep Dive coming today for you as well. Right, thanks very much for joining me today, and yet we'll be back with another show tomorrow. See you in a bit.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out the content today. If you want to get your name in and amongst these wonderful people, then head to redmenplus.com. Join as a Legend tier subscriber. You're going to get free merchandise codes. You're going to get in our Discord, and you're going to get your name at the end of YouTube videos. Yes, redmenplus.com, Legend tier status.